welcome, my beautiful kings and queens, to We Too Can Make It All Right Live. United we stand, divided no more. I am your host, Tara, queen to my heavenly father's throne, and my co-host right here.
And I'm Reggie Reg, the voice from the street.
Yes. This show is for the people, where we speak on various topics. We do not hear you. We listen. There's a difference. We have zero tolerance for defamation to anyone's character. Speak facts, and we can show enough talk. But before I get started, I want to give a great big shout out to all the listeners from each state that took time and effort to vote. It was through such you made a difference, or hopefully you made a difference. And I pray that we overcome, rebuild, and unite stronger than ever. With that being said, there's work to be done. Let's get it. Okay? Wow. With us today, I have a king that is the epiphany of redemption. With many accomplishments, he remains humble and dedicated to the cause to help reprogram, reform, and heal. He is the director of News Inside. Am I right?
Absolutely.
The Izzy Award-winning print publication of the Marshall's Project, which is distributed in hundreds of prisons and jails throughout the United States. He is an accomplished public speaker and has provided multimedia content for CNN, PBS, NBC, Nightly News, MSNBC, and more. Brother been busy.
The brother's deep.
News Inside is the recipient of the 2020 Izzy Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Independent Media. It is with honor and definitely a privilege to introduce to you Mr. Lawrence Bartley. How you doing, brother?
I'm well.
Good. Yes. Today is a day after. With all that's going on, we just stay in prayer and just know that everything is going to work itself out, But for those of you that are tuned in, tell them who is Lawrence Bartley.
Well, as you said, I'm the director of News Inside, our print publication. I'm also a proud dad.
Hey.
Yes.
I like to call myself a moralist.
All right.
And I try to walk the right way, do the right thing, and exude what I want my kids to emulate. I have two young boys, 12 and 7, and I have a grown daughter, age 29, and I have to be right for them as well as myself and my beautiful wife.
That's the truth. So what was it that pushed you? Like, okay, let's go back for a minute. Like, a lot of people don't know, but if you don't mind, just, speaking on your incarceration, which was for how long?
It was, unfortunately, I was incarcerated. It was for 27 years. I was in a situation, it occurred in Sunrise Movie Theater in 1990, and I was enjoying the movie, and a group of teens came in making a lot of noise, and one of my friends told them to be quiet. And at this time, it was months after I had been shot 4 times, and it was a point in my life where I didn't have trust for law enforcement at that time, because driving vans on the sidewalk trying to run us down. We were little kids at the time,
right?
So I grew up with this distrust. And so when I was shot 4 times, I figured that only person that's going to protect me is me. So I had a gun for protection. And to put things in perspective, it was around the time where New York City, the murder rate was pretty high.
Right.
If you look at 2016, people talk about the way Chicago was. Chicago had approximately 750 murders at that time. But in 1990, the year of my arrest, New York had 2,242 murders. So the environment was very unhealthy, and that led me, to pick up a gun at 17 years old. And unfortunately, when that situation occurred in the movie theater, the group of teens, accosted the group of teens I was with, and arguing went back and forth. One of them fired a weapon at us, and we returned fire. I returned fire with one shot. I didn't see anybody, didn't intend to hurt anybody. But unfortunately, a young boy lost his life, and 3 other people were injured. Mm-hmm. And, I had to pay the price for that. Whether I was directly a person responsible or not, I was responsible because I was there. I didn't stop the situation, and I exacerbated the situation with my actions. And I was made to go to prison for a very long time, 27 years and 2 months to be exact. Mm-hmm. And that part of my life is over, and I'm here.
Yes,
Yes, you
brother.
are. Strong.
And I can see just by you expressing, in your eyes and in your face, a lot of people don't have, that conscious, so to speak, and I see that in you where you're like, wow, if only, it would have been so much different. But I see that, brother, and I salute you for it. But what was it that pushed you to turn a negative into a positive? Let's just get off of that.
Well, I learned how to shave in prison. I learned how to become a man.
All right.
So the choice that I made, which had me pick up a gun when I was 17 years old, I quickly grew out of that, and I wasn't that individual anymore. As one would imagine, living in a prison environment, things happen, and a person has to, protect himself, be a certain way. So those instances occurred along the way. So don't get me wrong, but at no time was I ever a villain. Did I ever hold up violence as this is the way to be, or negative behavior or negative activity? Mm-hmm. So I did whatever was necessary to help the incarcerated population. Mm-hmm. I was part of a committee that was sort of like an incarcerated person's government in 5 different facilities. I was the chairman, in which I brought the things that the incarcerated population want to the prison administrator, and we had deals. We talked to try to make it happen. Whether it was better food in the commissary, like fresh produce, etc., or was appropriate treatment of our families when they come visit us. So when dealing with that kind of behavior, they kind of conditioned me to live a different way. It was a next logical step for me to enter the college programs, and I went from a GED to a master's degree.
That's what's up.
And during my time in school, I honed my writing and, packaged it together with, like I said, being a moralist. Mm-hmm. When I got out, it just manifested into what I'm doing now.
All right. I got a question for you, Mr. Lawrence. When you was incarcerated, right? What guided you toward the path that you're on now? What started that?
Well, it's numerous things. To be honest, Reg, when the day I was convicted, I just had a flashback of my grandmoms. I was raised by both my parents, but grandmoms was like really there because I had a working class family. Both my parents were. My grandma was there with me all the time, and she used to always tell me things like, "Oh, I don't want you to be like the bad boy up the street, or I don't want you to get yourself in any trouble. Promise me you won't do this," because she saw what was going on in my neighborhood. And when I was convicted, I felt that I failed her. And I didn't start off like most who, when they first come to prison, they as we say, wilding out, doing negative behavior. I didn't start off like that early. I started off super ashamed and beaten down, but always when I felt beaten down, I didn't curl into a shell. Instead, I looked for ways to get me out of the shell. Wow. So with my 17-year-old mind, and by the time I got convicted, I was 19. But with my 19-year-old mind, I dug into law books. I tried to get myself out. And that pill after pill, I was losing. and then I started to succumb into my prison environment because I knew this was possibly my reality for 2 decades or so. But in doing that, it was some ups and downs during my incarceration, but I always found myself back to being me. And another turning point would be when I was asked to facilitate ART. And that's the first time when that's aggressive repressing training. It's a program where individuals who have violent crimes, they have to take ART in order to satisfy the minimum requirement of the parole board when they want to get out. So I taught that course, and in teaching that course, one of the counselors used to give me a lot of positive reinforcement, like, "Wow, you do such a great job," this and that. I mean, like, just looked at me as a leader. And being young and being looked at as a leader for the first time, like by the time then I was in my 20s, but I was just like doing some internalizing, like, wow, I could do this. And, so I always found myself back to that.
Well, you know what? I was just saying, as you were speaking about, I don't know, it's a touchy thing as far as religion is concerned, but I do believe in, a higher power, our creator. And when you were saying that, your grandmother was always at the forefront, that brought me back to a time where my grandmother was the same way. So we basically had that foundation already, and the teachings, even though I can say this, Lawrence, that I believe you was at the wrong place at the wrong time, but for the right reason when you go back and think about your journey, because he knew that at that age, ain't no telling what could have happened had you not, if he had not sat you down, because he already had a plan for you. You know what I mean? And that was the leadership. That was, yes, this is what I have for you. And it, you had to start it there. But look at you now, black man. That's what I'm talking about. That right there, that inspires me, because it's like, I love to see my brothers, we're known to adapt to any situation. That's just our culture, period. But when I see black men, because I have a black son, that get up, keep going, don't let nothing hinder you. That right there is such a motivation to me. And again, I'm gonna keep going, but you just having me up here just feeling some kind of way. I'm feeling emotional. I'm getting all.
It's all right. It's all right.
He's a good brother. And,
yes.
And I know him because we did time together.
Okay.
So we was on the inside together, and I know this brother hard.
Yes.
And that's why I love the things that he's doing now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just you know how much love I got for you, brother.
Yeah.
You know that.
Likewise, same here. You always got A1 from day one.
It's very emotional for me right now because I'm dealing with my mother passing 2 years ago. But, and plus seeing you for the first time, and I've been out a whole year, and, just seeing the work that you've been doing, and I've been following you, and I would like for you to let the listeners know, what you be doing or what you got upcoming.
Well, as always, News Inside is my passion, and to be more specific, when I was incarcerated, people, like, throughout my entire incarceration, I always dreamt of getting out. And when I would look at, I went through a series of appeals, like I mentioned before, and it didn't happen. But I thought that, all right, the last resort is the parole board. But I saw my neighbors and those around me